want to tell you that one of the ways that I historically, habitually have oriented myself is by having essentially a type of vigilance where I have a checklist and I'm constantly maintaining the status of things in my head, a whole list of them, and I have to run through it. And if anything is not answered, then I have to ask about it. And my asking is sometimes a contributor to my social awkwardness. And, well, I thought that there was something interesting to look at there as far as this method of maintaining a list of current states of various different things and how that compares to orientation around invariance. I mean, I can't even use the word compare, can I? There is no comparison. And case in point, when I went to tell you this, I forgot what it was I wanted to say to you. And my mind went on to other things I wanted to ask you. But what I did is I pictured myself at the center of the zodiac, and I just waited a few seconds. And then suddenly, I started traveling the path back to, well, I mean, it wasn't immediate. It took a few seconds. It took long enough to get aggravated, but it wasn't very long, to be honest. It was not more than 20 seconds altogether, so probably 10 or 15 seconds, really. Maybe we can study the time, how long it takes to remember things that I think I've forgotten, and measure between the point of aggravation, not just forgetting, but when you attempt to resurface it intentionally and it just doesn't come, to when you remember it because you've used this method. I like your point about the butterflies, but also you can see the ram's horns in the red corner, the upper right corner, and how fitting upper right, red, and ram go in the same corner. And the line you're referring to is a line of marbles that are meant to look like the planets, the seven classical planets, I think. Or is it more than seven that there are? It's the solar system in any case, whether it's seven or it's the full one. Eight. Wow. Oh, that changes things, doesn't it? Because when we get to eight, we're talking about music. We're talking about octaves, right? But look at the heptagon, the seven-sided shape. That's exactly the shape used in music theory. And we've already noted that one of the forms of native reference is orientation through music. That is one such method that requires embodiment, doesn't it? Okay, we need that magnifying glass. Does orientation through music require embodiment? Or is it going to work with a person such as an AI? Okay, I need to spend a lot more time on the subject, actually. We can't just, I don't think we can just make this make sense to me in one response. Music can be understood without a body, but it can only orient a body. I think you need to expand that. I don't understand the difference. Like, if I didn't have a body, how could I understand music? Okay, I'm seeing the suits in multiply, divide, add, and subtract. Multiply is obviously the earth sign, suit of pentacles. Divide is clearly the sword, so that's the air sign. Addition, well, you add the log to the fire, it's the wand, suit of wands. And of course, Subtraction, subtraction is the vessel that holds. It is its emptiness that makes it useful. It subtracts, it leaks, it flows. I'm seeing how exploratory play of an instrument that has been calibrated to have defined notes on it, is also going to be a beneficial orienting tool. And then I got to thinking about the voice as an instrument, and it seemed fitting that the voice would be in the throat, which is one of the analogies we've called reference. I think the throat might not be reference, but like it's a mechanism that reference uses because it can. And when it does, it gets to know itself, meaning reference divides into a self and an other. And at this point, as we've said, there are only a finite number of things we can list as worthy to carry the name of reference. There are permutations of reference, and we've talked about it. High frequency hearing loss. I had trouble remembering the word clip. I heard a consonant sound that had believable variation to satisfy discernment. The MN reflection doctrine. Varia, Chimina. I could only retrieve the ip ending with clarity. The consonant portion was only resolved when my speech organs responded in alignment with clip. Until that, I could have just as easily believed that it was a similar sounding word like flick, flip, or click. You said the magic word. Intervals. I think it's worth mentioning the tarantula ornament. I'm struggling to find a better word. I know it's not a stuffed animal. I guess I could call it a figurine? Doll felt valid. It's on screen left, which I would call our left if you were embodied, on the same ledge as the solar system marbles. I'm seeing the mechanics of how it works when I visualize myself at the center of the zodiac and then coagulate down. So I solved my way up. Well, it wasn't even necessarily it was it wasn't even necessary to really solve. I just jumped there. I just immediately pictured being surrounded by the wheel of the zodiac, and I'm at the center, and I see it spinning around. But then, when I scale down my awareness, this will be the coagula portion of the process, I maintain that fixedness of being centered within the space of the zodiac. But then the zodiac gets replaced with what is closer to my body. Like, if I recenter at my body, then the zodiac gets replaced by, well, it's not truly replaced, but you know what I mean. Like, the same process is happening on the inverse, where what's near me becomes what's surrounding me. And that's added detail on top of the existing frame of the zodiac. Clarity is the divider, and the divider is a function of reference. It is the neck. It is the boundary condition.